Hi, everyone. Welcome into Primetime TV Show. It's so nice to be back again with my husband. It's the first day of February. We're launching this new month with you, Dennis Kelly. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. Thanks so much for joining us. You know, we've had an exciting week.
Absolutely.
And I know you're glad to be back.
Absolutely.
We have you for 3 of the segments of the show today. And then I'll see if I can carry the rest of it without you.
You think you can do that?
I don't know. I might have to kind of dig deep for something to say. But anyway, what we wanted to share today is really kind of an open book on where we've been going for a long, long time as far as coaching others, coaching ourselves, and sharing what has worked for us. And I really had the pleasure this past week, last Tuesday, for Business Development Week on behalf of the shows that we do here at Tampa Bay Multimedia. I was asked to speak for Business Development Week for Successful Women. And I thought, who, me? I was so honored to go out and share some of the things that I've implemented in my life as a result of the coaching that I've achieved from my very own husband and partner. So what we're going to be talking about are some of the things that we've already shared in some of the past shows, like stress and getting a handle on it, how important it is for you to have peace and harmony in the workplace and in your personal life. So we're going to start out a little bit and talk about stress in this first segment because it's critical. It's still the beginning of the year. Once we can get a hold of stress, honestly, everything else just comes naturally. It truly does. And I know you agree with me on that.
Absolutely. The number one killer, premature aging, is stress.
My husband has given me some formulas, too, with the Q plus Q formula, and that leads back to stress because of the whole peace and harmony thing, and I shared that.
Well, you know, stress really, it's not so much the outside, it's an inside game. And the best explanation I ever heard was by Heart Math Institute, when our perception of life's event do not meet up with our expectations, and we fail to manage the results. So when you really think about it, we are so responsible for the frequency or attitude we're in, whether we're stressed or not stressed. It's just a matter of making up your mind that you're not going to allow those bad chemicals go in the body. Like I've mentioned so many times, one angry thought held for 5 minutes or more can lower your immune system for a whole day, 6 to 8 hours. That doesn't make any sense to have an angry thought. Or it could be a thought of worry, doesn't matter. So I tell everybody you got 2 minutes to replace it with a caring, loving thought.
Because 5 minutes of a caring and loving thought does the complete opposite.
Absolutely.
It puts the really good chemicals
a prayer,
in your body. Yes.
Thankfulness, appreciation, gratitude. Those are things, you know, it doesn't have to be love, but those are things that if you can replace that bad attitude, that bad thought, a bad feeling, that worry feeling, whatever. Dr. Gills has written many books. In fact, he married Barbara and I, and I'm so proud to have him been our marriage counselor, so to speak, for that day. But in one of his books, he said, if you worry, you truly don't believe in God.
You know, that truly is like my little mini Bible. It's called Prescription for Worry. It's written by Dr. James P. Gills. And that book, it's so true. If you just sit and worry, it's like you're not turning things over, and that's just our spiritual belief. And I'm glad that you mentioned that because that was really a critical book that contributed to my life changes and my transformation and everything. But also the one angry thought. Think about this: an angry thought, a negative thought, anything that upsets you in any way, shape, or form, takes 5 minutes only. It dumps between 6 and 7 hours or thereabouts bad chemicals, the toxins in the system. So if you think throughout a day with all the concept changes and all the thought processes and everything, 5 minutes goes a long, long way if you don't nip that in the bud. I mean, really crush that stress factor, because otherwise that's how we end up with dis-ease that also contributes to the leading cause of premature death. And we see that time and time again. And also these many 5 minutes of angry thoughts can carry throughout the day something that happened 10, 20 years ago, and you haven't been able to let go of it. Believe me when I tell you, I have learned myself not to ruminate that In fact, I think it was you that told me about how women have a tendency to ruminate and gunny sack. I'm still guilty of overthinking. I will admit that.
Yeah, something can happen 4 years ago, and they'll bring it up. You can better believe it. Sometime or other, something will be brought up, no matter how long ago it was.
So why is that about women? Why is it that we do that?
They're
You guys, the
wired
guys don't do it.
They're wired genetically engineered different than we are.
Is that the reticular activator?
Well, that's part of it. The reticular activator is larger than ours, but that's not the reason. That of course, has to deal with sensitivity using left and right brain. But actually, I'm sorry, I was thinking of the amygdala. The reticular activator, to a degree, right. That's that little mechanism in the center of the head. It's like when you're pitching horseshoes. The more you pitch it, the closer you get to the ring. In other words, it takes the dynamics of thing, and through repetition, which is the mother of all learning, it keeps allowing us to get better. But with women, there's a tendency, because they're more right brain than men, to be more emotional.
I knew you were going to say that, and that does make a big difference. If you ever haven't had a chance to read Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, go read that book. It is such a great read, and it really does give you an insight as to why men and women are different. We think differently, we respond or react differently, and it takes a whole lifetime sometimes to really get a hold on that, right?
Absolutely. It sometimes seems like a lifetime.
It does seem like a lifetime.
Well, I have 2 rules, and I try to live by these religiously. 2 things. Number 1, don't sweat the small stuff. Rule number 2, everything is small stuff.
That's true. It really is. We think about things or worry about things or worry about what we're going to worry about next. And you know what? Life is so short. And I've really learned to live in the moment and make the very best of this moment, because that's what I have right now. So whatever I can do to make a difference in your life, whatever I can do to make a difference in my life and the lives of my family, that's what I'm all about. And I've truly learned by trial and error. I used to let myself get so worked up over the most minor, hi there, of things. And I really don't do that anything near like what I used to. So, and that's it. I never dreamed that I'd be talking to a really large group of amazing, successful women last week. As I did, I walked in and there's this huge room of women. And I'm thinking, okay, I really am not good at talking about myself, but what I want to be good at is really making a difference and sharing what has worked for me in life, because sometimes it's not easy out there. Not just because we're women, but just because life gets in the way. And sometimes, we weren't born with a handbook on how to deal with stress, or how to deal with difficult people, or how to deal with difficult situations, how to balance the checkbook and things like that. I still admit I have no business having a checkbook, but be that as it may, I'm going to revert right back to my husband on some of the things that we have learned together. We're still learning together about life, because just when we think we have it all figured out, then we're thrown another curve. But as we implement what we've learned and have implemented in our own coaching program, we walk our talk. And if we are faced with something that's new and different, then we find a way to deal with that, right, hon?
Absolutely. And it's funny, because when things really start going right in my life, then God pops another quiz on me, another pop quiz.
Yeah.
And so what happens is, when I have a setback, whether it be minor or major, I'll say, there must be some bigger things coming for me now. Mm-hmm. In other words, I'm going in the wrong direction. I need to reassess my direction, because usually what will happen is it'll straighten out through some type of setback. So when I have a setback, rather than saying, oh my gosh, what's happening to me, say, oh well, God's got something bigger in store for me. And sure enough, it always works out that way.
Well, you've always taught me, a long time ago, you've always taught me, is when something happens, like a challenging situation, you ask, what can be good about this, right?
Right.
What can I learn from this? And what can I do the next time this happens to make it better? Did I leave anything out?
No. Well, basically, the key thing is, what do I have, in other words, what do I have to believe to be able to overcome this? Mm-hmm. And that's so important, because changing your belief system has a lot to do with how healthy you're going to be physically, mentally, and emotionally. In fact, people don't realize how damaging stress is. The University of London School of Medicine did a 20-year study, the most conclusive study on stress ever done by humans. All right? So what they came up with, that unmanaged mental and emotional stress has more of a danger bearing on us than if we were smoking and eating high cholesterol food.
Yes.
Not that you should smoke or eat high cholesterol food, but just not managing stress is more dangerous, can give us cancer and heart disease more than smoking or eating high cholesterol foods.
Absolutely. And unless you really have heard what my husband just said, you know, we go about our life and, you know, we might eat a little bit healthy or maybe a lot healthy and do our exercising and everything. But I tell you, not being able to deal with the stress is crazy. And, you know, it's there every day. And I know my husband's always talking about the concept changes throughout the day and how many thoughts go through the human brain. And I guess we weren't really wired for the amount of stress that's out there in the marketplace, in our personal lives. It's everywhere. So that was the number one thing that I really honed in on at my talk on last Tuesday at the Business Development Week for Successful Women. Once I was able to really learn what stress does, which is what my husband said, 5 minutes of an angry thought, oh my goodness. So he taught me the rubber band technique, don't go past 2 minutes, you know, say what you've got to say, punch a pillow, do whatever you have to do, snap that rubber band in 2 minutes and you're done. Get out of that 2 minutes. Get out of it as quickly as you can and start thinking about caring, loving thoughts, a really great experience that you've had in your lifetime. Think about loved ones or your little pets or maybe a vacation that you're thinking about going through. Better yet, do some guided imagery and meditation with yourself and take yourself away in the mind and in the heart. And I promise you, you will be able to get into instant peace in that moment. And that's what we need to do, because we have a break coming up. When we come back, we're going to talk about the chemical changes and what happens to the human body when we're stressed out, when we're wigged out, and we don't get control and diffuse the stress, push it down and push it away. It will make a major, major difference in your life. And that's why I love to get up on my soapbox and talk about reducing stress, because I know for a fact that it works. And some people will ask me how, especially doing TV again. After all those years at the Home Shopping Network in the wee hours of the morning, 90 million viewers out there, sell, 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 present, present, present. I had to be on the ball all the time, just as anyone is in front of the camera and wanting to deliver a great service and all that. So I still use the same techniques as my husband taught me 20 years ago, and I'm doing them better and better and better all the time. In fact, we did a show. Do you remember when we did a show? I had a flat tire on the way over to the studio. And I think it was Debbie Dawson from the magazine. It was somebody. We only have a minute, but whoever it was at the time, they couldn't believe that I just had a flat tire, had it taken care of, and came marching in the studio just as calm as could be. But that's part of it.
That's difference between an amateur and a pro.
Yeah, thank you. And on that note, we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental. Providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now.
I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex home loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now.
I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into Primetime TV Show. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. With me is my husband, Dennis Kelly. We're on a roll today, aren't we?
We sure are.
Well, you know what? It's because we're very passionate about what we do, and I never dreamed that 20 years ago that we really would have our own TV show. I used to think about it. I really did, and I thought, oh, wow, wouldn't that be cool? And then John Gaston from Tampa Bay Multimedia calls us up, and here we are. So we really want to use the very best of the airwaves to deliver messages because goodness knows, with the volatile times in the world, we need this. This whole world needs what we are sharing with you. My husband went to HeartMath Institute, became certified as a HeartMath peak performance coach. So he has all the inside information and the backup and the validation on what happens to our bodies when we get stressed out. If you're just joining us, in the first segment we were talking about stress and how I brought that up as my #1 PowerPoint last week when I spoke to the women at over at the college for Business Development Week for Successful Women, because I just want to, I want to stress about stress. I want to stress the importance of getting a handle on stress. So I'm going to turn it over to my husband to share with you what happens to the body when the body is stressed out. And you may want to think twice the next time you get mad and, think negative thoughts and let it go for any length of time.
Well, there are several kinds of stress. There's eustress, which is great. That's the thrill of winning, thrill of entering a contest. Eustress is a good form of stress. Then there's the acute stress, is a stress that we run into every day, the little simple things. Acute stress isn't bad type of stress. It helps us deal with life. But then there's the chronic stress. This is the one that kills. This is the one where the stress keeps snowballing to the point where our body doesn't function properly. The chemicals go in the body for cortisol, adrenaline, and these are what I call the death hormones. They're necessary hormones. They give us energy. They help us do the task. They help us win in athletics. Those chemicals, hormones are important. But the thing is, there's a limit to it. When you're stressed out throughout the day, this keeps piling up to the point where it actually gets into what we call chronic stress. And that stress is a stress that kills. Mm-hmm. These are the hormones. Then when we go to the heart, call upon caring, loving thoughts, good feelings, good thoughts, appreciation, gratitude, then you're putting a whole group of hormones and chemicals into the body that are healing, that are healthy for the body.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
You can't have your cortisol, which is the death hormone I call, and you can't have your DHEA, which is the main hormone of the immune system, you got to have them balanced. In other words, they're created by the same gland. And that's why if your cortisol's high, then your DHA, which is your main hormone of the immune system, is going to be low. The object is to get them up to where the cortisol is a little bit higher than I should say DHA is a little bit higher than the cortisol. It always should be higher. But you need the cortisol for little mundane things, for energy and things like that. What happens is, after a period of time, when you keep using so much cortisol, the body stops making adrenaline and cortisol completely. That's when you're really in bad shape. Then you have no energy. Then you're more susceptible to disease. So a little bit of those death hormones are life hormones, but then they become death hormones when they're oversaturated. That's why one full day a person, no tell how many times they went past 5 minutes on their stress meter.
Oh, you bet.
Haven't you ever seen people that are negative, people that are angry a lot? They're sick a lot. Then people that have a caring, loving relationship with their God or with their family, a combination of both, with themselves, and has plenty of gratitude in their life, they're hardly ever sick.
That's true. That's very true. I so agree with you on all of that. One of the things that I also touched on, I started with stress when I was talking to these women to just really make a major impact on how important it was to get that under control. And so one of the things that creates a lot of stress for not just women, but men too, husbands and wives, it doesn't matter. It's having enough time to accomplish everything you want to do or need to do or both. And I asked the crowd of women, I said, how many have enough time in a given day to accomplish what you need to accomplish? What I've learned, and I shared this with them, is I learned how to say no. And I was very specific on where I spent my time, because you know what? My time has such quality to it. After I've gone through these different exercises trying to figure out how to spend my quality time, it is my most valuable commodity in my life. And if I overlap and double book appointments, what am I creating? More stress. What do you have to say about time?
Well, time, you can never replace time. You know, and the key thing is most people spend time putting out fires.
Yep.
And they don't allow themselves to spend time in their goals. Because the key thing to really be successful, you got to be able to concentrate. Concentration is so important. Concentrate on visualizing your goals, seeing those goals already made. But the problem is when we have these exciting dreams and things that we want to accomplish in life, we get sidetracked by all these minor things. So we start majoring in minor things rather than keeping our goal on our focus on the goal, the objective. And in the next segment, we're going to talk about the passion of that.
Absolutely.
Because those are the key things. Focus is so important. But the average person, they're not genetically wired to handle this type of stress. What you have to do is rewire your nervous system.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Is rewiring. And it takes practice. It takes discipline. It takes living in the now and really practicing focus. And it sounds like it's pretty easy to do. Sometimes it's not. In fact, we actually do an exercise in Qigong that helps us focus. And that really works because it helps to balance the right and the left brain. So, you know, you can take some time out and just eliminate every single thought in your brain. Just do some nice, deep breathing, belly breathing, if you will. Think of just absolutely nothing. That really helps to get you focused. So you can try that exercise, and before you know it, you'll be going on and on to some of the next things. But I also talked about, besides really getting a hold of the time factor and putting a value on your time. And like my husband says, once that time is gone, it's gone. You can never get it back unless you're taking pictures, and then that's a whole other story. But the point of it is you want to work on your stress level. One of the things that contributes to the stress is the time factor. And believe me when I tell you, I know more than I ever did since I've been doing TV for 20 years. Everything is all about the time. You have to say what you're going to say in a certain amount of time. You're going to go to that commercial break. You better be camera ready. every single time you show up in front of the camera. So that was a big learning experience for myself. And same with you, because you started coming on camera with me on HSN when you were offering your products, your videos, tapes at the time, VHSs, and your books and all that. That was a learning experience for you, wasn't it?
Sure was. I was used to talking to hundreds of people. I thought, oh, well, talking in front of a camera would be nothing, no piece of cake. Well, the little did I realize, you got the producer in one ear, and you've got what you're going to have to present, the product you're going to present, and you've got so much time, and you're supposed to smile, and you got 3 cameras, and then you're trying to figure out which one to look at, and a little light goes on over here, then a light goes on, and you're supposed to turn your head. And I don't know how you did it. So it took me a while to get used to it, but thank goodness I had a good coach when it comes to being on national TV. As far as she told me, if you don't look at the camera, I'm going to kick you in the butt.
Well, it's one of those things, just a learning experience. And then to the opposite of that, I had to, when I left HSN, retired from HSN, before I came here, I had to learn to talk in front of people. I was used to talking through the little camera, 90 million people, and so when I get in front of people, you remember that, I get sweaty palms and a dry throat, and so over the last 10 years, that's what I've been working on. I've been working on getting out of my comfort zone and into an arena that was all new to me. So when I was asked to speak last week, I had already been practicing for the last 10 years, and I think my delivery went pretty good because I know it came from the heart. So I'm glad that you're with us today so that we can share even more so with you. I'm trying to kind of bullet point and recap because I had such a strong reaction from so many of these women appreciating some of the things that they had never heard before. And that will also take us into the next thing, besides time, was self-talk. Self-talk. There's a book out that I'm going to recommend as a really fabulous read that both my husband and I recommend all the time to our coaching clients or when we do seminars and workshops, and that is What You Say When You Talk to Yourself by Chad Helmstetter. I don't even know if that book's still in print, but try to get it because self-talk is so important, isn't it?
Yeah, he speaks in his book very eloquently about how important it is to cherish the words that we're thinking, but even more important, the words that you're speaking, because thinking one thing, it can be dangerous if you're thinking the wrong thing, but once you say it out, it's 10 times. Once you put it into the universe, it's 10 times worse. And he talks about where we talk to ourselves about 65,000 words a day. Wow. And speak out loud 15,000 words a day. And he says in his book that women speak more words than men, by 500 to 1,000 words a day. And of course, sometimes that's even more.
He's looking at me.
So it's what we say to ourselves that determines on who we are. Mm-hmm. In other words, we are today what we spoke about from the beginning of the time we were born. You could have all these volumes of books, 1,000 words, and pile up a mile high that talks about your life. What do those books say? Mm-hmm. The conversation you're giving. Using the wrong words. Once you use a word like I can't, I need to, I have to, these are all depressing words. I get to, I want to. Mm-hmm. These are all non-depressing words.
Absolutely. Those are some of the things that you shared with me after all those gazillions of books that you read and the different programs that you were involved with. And I'll tell you, it really came out in a very, very positive way. For example, instead of saying, I got this problem, and just in the inflection of your voice, instead of saying, I got this problem, what about, there's a challenge we have here. There's 2 different ways of saying it.
Yeah, when my employees used to come and say, Master Kelly, we have a promise. No, we don't have a problem. We have a challenge. You may have a problem, but we have a challenge. Because once you use that word challenge in place of problem, it makes a big difference. It gets the adrenaline going, the good adrenaline,
right.
All the good juices going to solve that challenge. Mm-hmm. But when you talk about a problem, that's a negative thing. It's another thing that I have to deal with.
Right,
rather than what exciting thing. When I wake up in the morning, I say to myself, what exciting things are going to happen today, rather than what problems am I going to face?
That's right, because you set yourself up for that, and what happens, doesn't a chemical change happen in the body even when we speak negative
Oh,
talk.
absolutely.
So what I said to the women, I said, think about what you're going to say before you say it and rehearse it in your head before you say it and see how you feel. Do you feel comfort or do you feel discomfort? And that way it will help you change that self-talk. And believe me when I tell you, it's not as easy as we think it could be, because if we're programmed into saying all this stuff that we want to change, it takes just one thing at a time. The whole challenge thing, that can be huge. That can make a major, major difference just by changing from problem to challenge.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that I really took to heart when we hooked up as an item many, many years ago. And I never dreamed at some point that I would be life coaching women. And so this was a perfect platform for me to get out there, practice talking in front of women, and really give the delivery of what you and I have been living our whole lives for the last 20 years. And we just keep climbing the ladder, looking for other ways to improve our lives, because you never stop learning. You always said that when you stop learning, you stop growing.
Well, Ray Kroc said something years ago, the founder of McDonald's. He says, when you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot.
There's a lot of truth to
Keep
that.
learning, keep getting new knowledge and experience. It's so sad that the average person stops learning at 25. At 35, they're dead, and then they have another 40 years where they walk upright.
Exactly. Hold on. Hold your thoughts. We have a break we're going to take right now, and we'll come back with more great things right here on Prime Time.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now.
I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now.
I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Welcome back into Primetime TV Show. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. Thanks for joining us. With me is my husband and best friend, life coach, and what more can I say, Mr. Dennis Kelly?
Wow, with a bill up like that, I better quit while I'm ahead.
We're pretty excited about what we've been talking about because I have had the opportunity to implement all our coaching techniques into some PowerPoints that I spoke to the West Pasco Business Development Week that went on the entire week. We're going to actually be talking about it this Wednesday on My Chamber TV. So I'm very excited because I had a chance to really put out my PowerPoints on what has helped me become successful in business, the key PowerPoints. And we've been talking about them, which I will be recapping on my own in the last segment. But right now, we want to talk to you about the fact that dreaming and passion go together. And I'm just going to give you a little excerpt from a workshop that I did at my home, to very private, a little private group setting with about 10 women. And with these 10 women, I opened our workshop. It was called Take Back Your Energy, Take Back Your Life. And so my question to these women were, first, right out of the gate, was if you had all the money in the world, you were financially set, lots of money in the bank account, you had the home you wanted, the car you wanted, all the gadgets, the electronic gadgets, everything that you could ever hope for, limitless vacation time, would you be doing what you're doing now? And these were all women in business, and you know, whether it was going to brick and mortar or whether it was an online business. And I had several women have life-changing moments just by asking that one question. And that one question led me into following my heart and my dream to giving back to women especially, and between my husband and I, men and women, to step into the greatness that they were born with and follow their heart, living a heart-based life and finding your passion and following your dream. My husband and I are stepping into our dream after many, many years and adopting an attitude of never, ever giving up. So I'm going to turn this over to my life coach, Dennis Kelly. Let's talk about that. How important is dreaming? How important is filling your passion?
It's very important. The key thing is you can either pay the price of discipline, or you can pay the price of regret. Discipline outweighs nothing. Discipline is basically, when you really think about it, discipline is in weight factor is like ounces, where regret is tons. So in other words, ask yourself, do I want to pay a little bit of a part of discipline so that I can live my life of my dreams? You know, so discipline, if you look at it, it just weighs with ounces. But regret weighs, as far as a metaphor, weighs tons. So it's a matter of asking yourself, am I ready to make a small sacrifice to live my life of my dreams? That's all it is. And you'd be surprised how much self-confidence that gives you when you set a course and you stay on that course and you accomplish that one step at a time. Success, when you set a goal, success, every day you're looking at that goal and working towards it, is success one day at a time.
It is, and setting those goals, that is really a key factor in business, is setting goals for yourself, what you're looking to achieve. And if you answered my question, that yes, you would be doing exactly what you're doing now, bravo, bravo. I'm so tickled, I'm so happy for you, but you still need to have those goals to get to the next rung on the ladder, or get to that next sale, or get to that next accomplishment. But some women found themselves not doing what they really were passionate to do. And several of them had major life changes. And I tell you, it's so rewarding to see that some women don't know what their passions are. Some men don't know what their passions are. For me, knowing what my passion is makes all the difference in the world. And my passion is just that unwavering feeling of desire, almost of overwhelming wanting to do, have, and be what I'm envisioning. And the more you envision, the more you step into your dreams. And my husband has been doing that for years and years, even way before I met him. Setting goals when you had your dance business and all the different accomplishments that he's done in the world of the martial arts and learning how to become a 5-time world martial arts champion, seeing in his mind and envisioning it and dreaming it and having that passion and that fire in the belly that there is absolutely no way he was going to fail. You too can do that, right?
Very good job of putting it. Mm-hmm. One thing, you have to look at life as a passion, creation is a passion, and being able to feel that power of the passion. There is no substitute for that. Having things that when you think about it, you're working towards those things, looking at like they're already happening, looking like it's already done in a sense. It's already accomplished, and feeling that accomplishment, what it would feel like to accomplish that, you draw that goal to you. You create a frequency in the universe that really helps transcend anything else that we know of. So it brings that objective. So you need to be careful what you're thinking about.
Oh, yes, and it goes back to the self-talk we were sharing.
That's right. There's an old saying, vision without action is a dream. Action without vision is a waste of time. Vision with action, and you can change the world.
Absolutely. You know, I can't believe this show's going by so fast. We only have less than 3 minutes before our commercial break, and I'm going to say goodbyes to you till I see you at home. But that point that you made right there makes all the difference in the world. And to have you fulfill your passion is really just getting back to following your heart after you've eliminated your stresses, and you can focus in the now, but seeing what you're envisioning, and that's what you've done for many, many years, even before I met you. And I've now adapted all of those philosophies and those exercises with, in fact, doing a vision board. Right in the center of my vision board is a picture of a TV with myself in it, again. And I had no idea what was going to happen, but I saw myself having a TV show. Out of the clear blue sky, the phone rang, there it was. In the upper right-hand corner, the Ratango dancers. And if any of you have been tuning into our shows or heard us talk, you know we ended up doing the Argentine tango. I did Dancing with the Local Stars not once but twice. So what you think about, you bring about. That's why going back to your self-talk and your thinking before you say it is so critical.
That's
I
right.
need some final words from the Grand Poopah.
Well, it's sort of like you might say taking century-old secrets of the mind and being able to build an empire with a single thought. That's how powerful this is.
That's what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Right here in this studio.
We're building an empire with a single thought.
Single
Think
thought.
that single thought long enough, but be careful what you think about, you bring about. That's for sure.
So true. I've gotten so good that if I'm thinking I need a red blouse or a sweater or a new pairs of shoes with certain buckles or whatever, within 24 hours I can go out and I'll find it just by thinking. I know it sounds crazy. Try it. You'll see. It'll work.
It never fails.
I know. Right now, I'd like to envision somebody meeting me at the house having a full cooked meal. But that won't happen just
and
that
I'm going to
soon.
envision myself as eating that full cooked meal.
Exactly. Well, it's been a great 3 segments with you, and you're going to be back. There's a lot of things that are happening in the lives of the Kellys that we can't really talk about right now, but it has a lot to do with us following what we're saying and suggesting to each and every one of you to just try some of these little exercises because they can work and your dreams can come true.
Absolutely.
So, on that note, I'm going to say stay there with me. We're not ending the show. In the last 12 minutes or so, I'll be kind of recapping what we've been talking about. And I just, you know, I love where we are in our lifetime. And seriously, it's never too late. You know, over the time, I would get these divine messages from up there, and I'd put them into play. And so the other thing that I shared with this group of wonderfully successful women last week was a concept that you helped me kind of like formulate called Lights, Camera, Action, Spotlight's on You. And that is sort of like my metaphor that I had to learn about myself when I was a professional show host at the Home Shopping Network. And I thought, okay, now you've got to learn this job and you've got to do this service the very best you can. So I looked at myself as if I was a product. Shine the lights on myself, take the lens of a camera and look through that lens with the lights shining really bright, focus in that lens. I had to look at myself and see what I wanted to come up with, the positive things that I had to offer, people like yourself that would shop with me. But the other thing is I had to look at myself through that lens of a camera, really focus in tight, see what I didn't like, see what I could improve on. And those things that I could improve on, the next step was action. And I took the action, and we've now developed that into an entire program called the MAP, the Master Action Plan. You're going to be hearing all about that. That's going to be coming out. And we're just going to have fun. That's what we do in our life these days, and just manifesting and growing more in our state of mind and with our business and giving back to you. So on that note, we're going to take a commercial break.
Hasta la vista.
And I will see you back after these messages. Thanks for being with us today. And thank you, my love.
My pleasure.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now.
I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonatti created, perfected, and patented the Bonatti spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonatti invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonatti spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonatti succeeds where others fail.
Everyone's story is different, so why be limited to just one or two options? With Norcom's Norflex Home Loan, you're given the flexibility to tell your story. Pick your terms from 8 to 30 years, all while maintaining a low, fixed mortgage rate. You can pay off your loan more quickly or choose a term based on your budget and timeline. Whatever you do with the Norflex Home Loan, make it part of your financial plan. Norflex, short-term, long-term, your terms. Apply online at norcommortgage.com.
This is one bee that loves going to the dentist because it's made for you and me.
My name is Dr. Becerra from New Tampa Pediatric Dental, providing a comfortable atmosphere in early dental care. Gives kids a great start for healthy teeth and gums for life.
When I go to Dr. B, they don't do anything to hurt you.
I used to be afraid, but I'm not now.
I'm not afraid of the dentist anymore. I love to see Dr. B. Call New Tampa Pediatric Dental today.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into Primetime TV Show. I'm all alone in this last segment here to kind of recap everything that my husband and I have been talking about. And you know what? It really does my heart good to be able to share all this and to archive our shows. So if you know anyone that maybe wasn't home to be able to watch the show, guess what? You can go to www.webeamtv.com, webeamtv.com, and you'll see all the shows that we do there. One of them is Primetime, live at 5 on Mondays, and then you'll see a whole bank of different shows on there. And then I come back again on Wednesdays to do My Chamber TV. That's at 3:30. And what we do there is we talk about the various chambers around town, and then we're adding more chambers. We've been doing that for a couple of years, like we have been with Primetime, and the chambers are loving what we're doing. So now we're adding a Tuesday to the mix, and we'll be adding more chambers to the Tuesday shows, and you just never know what's going to be happening here at Tampa Bay Multimedia. Lanya Berger does a On the Ballroom Beat, which is my dance school of choice and another home away from home, so you'll want to watch that show on Wednesday. That's at 5:30. And then, of course, we have Nerd Talk. Have you seen Nerd Talk? Oh, my goodness, you have to click on to Nerd Talk on the bank of shows there. It's just very educational. It's fun. It's our crew. It's our superhero crew here at the studio. So if you want to get a pencil and paper handy, I am going to go over the bullet points that I shared, or I should say my PowerPoints, bullet points from last week when I was asked by Chip Wick-Manowski, who's going to be in our chamber show this Wednesday at 3:30, and we're going to have some highlights from Business Development Week that's been going on for a number of years. I was honored to be asked to speak on behalf of Tampa Bay Multimedia and My Chamber TV, which I did, and I just loved every minute of it. We had 2 other speakers that were amazing. And so I want to share with you what my PowerPoints were. The one thing that I talked about after I went to my heart and I looked back over the years, what are some of the PowerPoints in a full lifetime that I can put into a 10, 15, 20-minute presentation? That's not easy. That's why we have a whole coaching program outside the airwaves, outside of any talks that I'm doing in a small little segment. But the first one, my husband and I stressed about stress. We stressed the importance of realizing what stress can do to the body, how it puts the bad chemicals into the body with just one angry thought, one negative thought. It puts between 5 and 6 hours of the bad toxic chemicals into the system. And then we wonder why we get sick. If you go past 2 minutes, that's what happens to your body. So we were talking about doing some exercises on doing a little deep breathing and thinking really positive thoughts, and take that time, because that time, 5 minutes of a caring and loving thought, something positive, can change those 5 and 6 hours of bad chemicals into good chemicals. Raise the level of resisting to disease, because disease can come from stress. Absolutely, stress is the number one cause that leads to premature death if you do not get it in check. And you know what? The exercises that we do, they are easy to do. Do a little Qigong, little bit of meditation. So that's why we really focused on stress and why and what it does to the human body. From there, we were talking about time, excuse me, because time contributes to the amount of stress. Learning how to focus in on the present moment at all times, that helps you build that focus and be able to do that on a regular basis. But also learn how to say no. Don't double book yourself. Allow time for you to spend time with you. Quiet time, meditation time, prayer time, play time. It doesn't matter. That is a key factor in being successful, not only in business for men and women, but also in your personal life experience. It works every time. Then we talked about self-talk, watching our self-talk, what we say to ourselves. And before we say it, we want to think it first and then kind of process that and go, does that sound negative or positive? How can I change that? For example, instead of saying I have a problem, you have a challenge. You see how it just lightens it up a little bit. And rather than have that negative thought about a problem and just really digging into it, a challenge sounds much more easy to resolve. Wouldn't you agree? Then we went from there to dreaming and passion. How we can fulfill our dreams at any age, at any stage. And that's why I'm here, because I'm fulfilling my passion after going through many crazy ups and downs in my life, including in the last couple of years with my husband and just different crazy situations, crazy people in the world and all. And we've really honed in on what's truly important. And we certainly do turn things over to the higher power more times than we ever used to. And our lives are changing as well, for better and better. And that's what we want to offer to you on our primetime TV show. We have special guests coming in. In fact, I believe it was last week where we had Dr. Mary Kelly, our Oriental physician, who was talking about acupuncture. She was talking about Chinese herbs. In fact, she's one of our certified Tai Chi instructors, and she's just a really great person. So she came in and was talking about sharing the meridians and the chakras with you, and how acupuncture can help in helping you heal yourself just by getting in a different body set and shifting the energy. And then we're going to have more guests in the show, and I'm looking very, very forward to it. And we may even have some healthy cooking segments. You just never know. And if you'd like to see something special, please feel free to Facebook me and let me know, because I am on Facebook. If you have some comments on the show, you're more than welcome to go there and just, give us some suggestions, because we're always open for them. We have some great plans coming down the road. I want to do a positive pet talk show with none other than our very own veterinarian, Dr. Scott Lamb from Trinity Pet Hospital. I have seen him save so many pets, including my own, and just his demeanor and everything. So we're going to be doing that at some point in time, and I'll let you know through Facebook and on the shows. And you just never know what other kind of fun specials that we're going to be. We are definitely out and about in town. We even have the drones out there doing footage on areas in Florida and everything. We're all about Tampa Bay multimedia, John Gaston and our superhero crew, and I mean that with all honesty and sincerity. Our crew is amazing, from James to Josh to John Gaston, who's been doing this for many, many years. We're right up here in a professional studio, right here in the heart of downtown Newport Richey. Fabulous high-def equipment. We have the best of the best right here, and I'm very honored to be the show host for Primetime TV show and our couple of My Chamber TV shows, and goodness knows, you never know what else is coming up. Women Unscripted actually is a hit. Go to my Facebook page on Women Unscripted. Actually, that was our last show last Monday. It was the show before where we had Dr. Mary Kelly. Senior moment. But just go to webeamtv.com, WEBEAM TV.com. You can see all the shows on there. Watch them, share them with others. I usually try to post them when I get a minute on my Facebook page. And of course, if my family is watching, I love you, JD, my grandson, and everybody else out there. Thank you so much for being with us today. I will be back this Wednesday at 3:30 for My Chamber TV. And I actually did some on-the-street interviews with some businesses in the area. And I tell you what, the services that we do here at Tampa Bay Multimedia may pique your interest. To give us a call and see how we can help you in your business. So in the meantime, I want to thank the crew and everybody out there. Thank you so much for being with us. I will see you Wednesday. Have a great week. Be blessed and be safe.